Let's have a look at the Fuso starting grid as they line up now for race number 24. Will Davison from the pole position. Great performance, the 15th of his career, and off the back of that Townsville win. Great performance, Chaz Mostert alongside him. Then Davey Reynolds and Tim Slade, we spoke to the boys before. Then Alex Davison and Scott McLaughlin, 5th and 6th. Followed then by James Courtney, freshly minted deal for him at the Holden Racing Team. Mark Winterbottom alongside the Pepsi Max entry. And then it's an all Red Bull following row, positions 9 and 10 for Whincup and Lowndes.
So remember, 11th, Jason Bright, he will be on the inside line. All the odd numbers, odd starting numbers that is, will be on that line. The Kelly brothers, 15th and 16th. The Jack Daniels Racing Nissan Motorsport, Tony D'Alberto and Jonathan Webb. 2 Commodores behind them. There's Garth Tander from 19th. His 2 results so far this weekend have been an 8th and 11th, and they've come from a 19th and a 14th start. So it's been a fighting weekend for Garth Tander after that victory in Townsville. Broke the HRT drought. 26th position goes to Scotty Pye, A-Cole Racing. And of course, 28 starters to round it out. Now coming into this event, guys, we had a best seat in the house competition. It's pretty handy, isn't it? Thanks to Coates Hire. Aaron Bentley won that comp. So he's just on approach to turn 2 there. That's where I was earlier on in the day, high above turn 2. He's also got a nice little refreshment tent over there, so if it gets a little bit uncomfortable for you in the commentary box, we'll run over there.
The bathroom's a bit tragic. Yes. Long way to the bottom. And they'll have a bird's eye view, Scafie. You just pointed to the slippery conditions on the outside of the road.
At turn 3, we had a great shot there of the racing line and the inside of the road being pretty much dry, but all the outside running being wet, and this will make a huge difference to how they all approach the braking area for turn 3. If you get wide, you'll find the wetter stuff on the outside and absolutely exit off the road.
A little bit more, just ease up a bit more, mate. Right,
a little bit of concern in the Will Davison camp about the race performance of car number 6 at the moment. Grant McPherson, spoke to him before the start. Hey, by the way, back on the subject of Gary Rogers, his PR person Sally Parkinson just came up after I walked off the grid and said, let everybody know it's Gary's birthday tomorrow.
Ah.
I said, how old? And she said, plenty.
Bushfire on the cake. Grab the extinguisher.
So happy birthday to Gary. He's a great character.
And
Tuesday,
Neil Crompton.
happy 21st.
Here we go.
So slippery conditions, especially for those on our left, their right. So who will get the advantage from this start? Chaz Mostert easily. And look at David Reynolds trying to snake his way through while Jamie Whincup went to the right-hand side and dropped a couple of tyres on the inside of the circuit. So the youngster Mostert fires through. Meanwhile, Alex Prema fires off with Russell Ingall behind him. Tim Slade, a good start as well. So Will Davison's gone from pole back to 3rd. Then Reynolds behind him.
So it's 2 and 4, Matt, on the spot that you said. 2 and 4 have gone to the lead. Dave Reynolds did a very good job. And then look at this, how slippery it is.
Alex Davison had real trouble then trying to pull up into turn 3. That was a wild start for Will Davison. He looked like he was scratching. He had to cover with David Reynolds. But it's been another ripping start for Chaz Mostert. Fabian Coulthard on the outside of Craig Lowndes at turn 4.
How good would it be for the young bloke to be leading this field? His debut year leading the field. This is an extraordinary effort.
He uses the brake line locker to get away, Chaz. I've spoken to him about his starts before, and he also uses a light system. He's got it timed to perfection. Lowndes out very wide. There's plenty going on in that battle for for 4th and 5th there at the moment as well. Look at McLaughlin and Reynolds, they're at it.
Winterbottom in 6th, Courtney's behind him. Van Gisbergen having a look here at Whincup and Lowndes.
Whincup and Lowndes made contact coming onto the start pretty straight that time. They ended up wide. Lowndes got out to the dirt. They bumped. Treacherous conditions out wide there. Look at them all learning from the first bit. Rick Kelly got pushed out there.
They're going to approach an injured Russell Ingall's car in just a moment or two. he's coming down that chute between turn 5 and 6, and the front wheels are wobbling away on the super cheap Auto Commodore.
That's Matt Crawford on the radio to Russell, long-time engineer of the Holden Racing team, Walkinshaw Racing, looking after the super cheap auto car. So the order at the moment is Mostert, then Slade. How's that for a lineup? Alex Premer's in the wars there as well after what happened down between turns 1 and 2. Mostert, Slade, Will Davison, McLaughlin, Reynolds, Winterbottom, Courtney, Davison, Coulthard and Bright. Then just outside the top 10 of the Red Bull cars.
And Mostert not hanging around. That's a 10.97 on the second lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race to Mostert. So not only is he leading, he's leading it with style. He's done a very good job of staying in that groove. You've got to make sure you hold the car on the light-coloured bitumen, the bit of road that you know is dry. You can tell the difference in the colour there.
Oh,
and Slade off the road. Had an unbelievable opportunity then to be up and on the podium, and a mistake. We'll have a look for you, but I think he's done that by himself because it was a big gap to Davison in the braking area. You can't make those sorts of blues when you've got those opportunities.
What a terrible thing for him after such a terrific qualifying performance and such a terrific job in the early phase of this race. Here's a replay of the start. Ooh, very close to a launch there for Mostert. It's got to be stationary when the lights change. Here's some of the wild stuff down at turn 3. That's Alex Davison in the blue gel wet car. We're on board there with James Courtney. We remarked that Alex ended up wide on the wet stuff. You don't need to come out of the groove very far to find yourself really floundering.
Yep, by himself.
He was actually quite a bit closer, it seemed, to the back of Chaz, and he's just carted himself off down there, and he'll be pretty cranky with that. So that's left a nice air gap for Chaz Mostert. It's 1.5 seconds, Mostert to Will Davison. And then this little battle here that's just brewing nicely between McLaughlin, Reynolds. Oh, Engels off as well. So another of the Erebus cars running wide down there.
Tim will be very angry because that was a great opportunity. He had a gap over Will Davison and was, as Neil said, closing a little bit on Mostert at that stage. He obviously ran in there a bit hard. What I said at the start was if you miss that dry line, you basically find the wetter outer verge, and that means you go off the road, which is what the story of the Tim Slade Mercedes E63 was as he disappeared off the road at turn 3.
10.53 for Mostert that lap, fastest lap of the race. That last one, that's impressive, and he opens the margin slightly to Will. It's Ford 1 and 2, then the first Holden is McLaughlin, then it's Reynolds and Winterbottom, Courtney in 6th, Alex Davison 7th, then Fabian Coulthard, Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes are now inside the 10. There they are at the tail of that group. Oops. And that's Tim Blanchard, I think.
Yep. That looks like engine. But yeah, or that could be ugly. The mix of oil and water is never good.
Wisely just gets that out of the way.
So everyone will be very careful now on the approach to 3.
McLaughlin's just done the...
At turn 3, just be mindful of that. And you're going to be on the back straight.
And you've got to look for the colour. So it'll come up with a purpley, crazed colour, hazy colour that you've got to look for, and you've got to spot it quickly because, as Adam Devore just said to Mostert, look for the oil. It's on the back straight into turn 3. Look for it. We'll pick it for you. Yeah, so he's... That's why he moved it over. It's on the outside of the road. Mostert's run down the inside of the road. You can see the oil run off there. And Davison gone.
Davison's found that oil, and it looks as though Winterbottom too, and
Courtney.
so has James Courtney, and off goes Lee Holdsworth.
That's the third of
John
the
O'Webb as
cars.
well.
Unbelievable. So not good communication with their drivers for that to have occurred, and a 10.2 last lap for McLaughlin. That'll ignite him.
It wasn't that clever coaching by Adam DeVore with Chaz Mostert. He kept talking to him. He gave him the initial warning as he was coming up the front straight and then kept talking to him from turn 2 right down to turn 3.
And all those guys that ran down there on the left side of the road, the racing line, got trapped. And we could, even from that angle that we saw, you could see the amount of oil that was there in the last 100 metres of the stop. There was plenty of it.
And as we said, you've got to isolate that quickly. So he was being coached by Adam, but at the same time, he saw it and he moved the car over, Matt. That was a good bit of driving.
So how's this? 21-year-old rookie, Chaz Mostert, leading the race from the 20-year-old rookie, Scott McLaughlin, who won his second race of his career earlier today.
Well done, Chaz. Very mature. Did a really good job then to get that car turned in there. Same with Scott McLaughlin.
So the changing fortunes continue, but not at the front. He started from second. He's now in first. There's still oil down there at turn 3. We'll take a break. Can Mostert hold it together for another 25-odd laps and get that breakthrough win?
Flat tyre in this lap, left front flat, will just need to be changed and then...
And mate, watch your entry, step 1 boys. Just the left front boys, just the left front.
Take that back, now done. Quite a bit of bodywork damage.
Well, unfolding drama here for our championship leader, Jamie Whincup. The left front
Boys, all we are
is
doing,
flat, shredded.
doing is the left front tyre only, left front. So I'll get the guys on the left hand side to come to the left front and help Rexy. Guys on the right hand side, you're just going to have a quick visual around. If I need you, I'll give you a shout. I'll get you to come across the front of the car for me.
Jamie's initial report was back to Mark Dutton, said I've got a flat left front, so I'll just come in, we'll change it and get going, and then he upgraded it to bodywork damage as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
He was going very fast, Matt. I mean, he was trying to get back going really fast. We picked that. You can just see that bulge in the bottom of the sidewall, and immediately, as soon as he puts his foot on the brake, it locks right there. So that's gone. So what he needs to do then is get back to the pit slowly, because it's torn the left-hand front off it and destroyed the left-hand front, all that.
Which makes the cars feel really weird when you've got 3 hot tyres and 1 cold. It'll pull in the steering, it'll feel odd. You picked it straight away as soon as you saw it. Here's the replay. Gone. Can't stop it. Down at turn 3, there was evidence that it was deflating at that point.
Big championship changing stuff, this.
There was some debris that flew off car number 1 as he went into pit lane, which may or may not be still sitting there. But Jamie Whincup is now 1 lap down. So if there is a safety car, it's not going to help him. Meanwhile, Chaz Most at 2.8 seconds clear from Scott McLaughlin.
Just as we went to the break, McLaughlin did the fastest lap of the race at a 1:10.25. But a 2.5 second margin at this point in the afternoon is a very healthy gap there for young Chaz. Pretty much an equal gap, second to third, as you can see.
So we've mentioned before that Chaz Mostert has won at this circuit. Look at that for damage. 2 out of 3 races he won last year to win the Dunlop Series round for DJR. So now that he's out in front, he's been in front since the start of this race, he'll be thinking, I've just got to do what I did last year. I've got to treat it like any other race.
I think how that started was he was on the oily line in the braking area at turn 3, and it was unstable under brakes. So it's either punctured it off the curb at turn 2 or punctured it as a consequence of locking it on the oil into turn 3, which then we picked up as it come through turn 3. But he needed to go back slowly, because he's very lucky to get away with having all that front mudguard, headlight and front air dam damage contained to being able to just change the tyre.
Tim Slade on a rescue mission was in second when he went off the circuit. He's down in 13th now, trying to haul back Gart Tander.
Yeah, he's rained on his own parade there. What a shame. That's the pressure of the game. David Wall's come into the pit lane as well in car number 21. So Slade battling here with Tander, but even if he makes a bit of ground now, there's no way he's going to get back to anywhere near where he was. What was that?
Yeah, with Adrian Burgess down at Red Bull Racing, and Adrian, that was a disaster for Jamie Whincup. Do you know what punctured that tyre?
Oh, at this stage we don't know what. We don't believe he's touched anybody with it, so either a little piece of debris on the circuit or, well, that's all it really can be at the moment, but yeah, we're not sure.
Tough for the championship, just as you were saying, to get back on top of it.
I mean, the important thing is we've got the car speed. These things come. We'll just keep our head down, keep doing a good job. It's a long way to go yet.
All right, Adrian, good luck.
Cheers, guys.
He came into this race, Matty, with a 177-point cushion, but this hurts, and particularly the point you made there before. 139 points into this one. Now, after this, yeah. So you made the point about him being a lap out. I mean, that's just a disaster. He's going to get some points, but
not many.
No, it's a hard game, isn't it, when it goes wrong?
Russell Ingall out of the car. Obviously, they can't fix your front suspension brake. And we didn't see the incident at turn 1 with Alexander Premer. There was obviously contact. Talk us through it.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, ended up hitting Premer, but it wasn't actually his fault. Saw a yellow Commodore come from a long way back. I think it was Scott Pye. So, yeah, not so smart. He sort of launched down the inside and pushed us both together into Premer. So it wasn't Premer's fault, just got sandwiched and that was it. So tore the front end out of it. So not a good end to the local round.
Well, I was going to say, mate, it's unusual for you to say hit someone and wasn't your fault, but we'll leave it at that, eh?
Larko, geez, you hold a grudge. Jesus.
And backing up Russell's point, post-race investigation is between car 80, which is Scott Pye, and 34, Alex Premer. So for the first time in a long time, Russell had nothing to do with it. Chaz Mostert. What a story. 2.3 seconds clear of Scott McLaughlin. Will Davison in third. been almost 3 full years since Dick Johnson Racing last had a V8 supercar victory. That was Jonathan Webb in the 3rd DJR car on that extraordinary day at Sydney Raceway, and Dick is making sure he has every view of the Queensland Raceway while Chaz Mostert closes in on a victory here. He's still got 16 laps to go. 82 races have passed in the championship since that day at Sydney Olympic Park. There's Scott McLaughlin in 2nd. He's the Lone Ranger in terms of the General's men at the moment. So we've got an FPR aligned car, I guess you call it, out of DJR, Mostert in 1st. And then what about the Ford Performance Racing crew? Will Davison started from pole position. He's in 3rd. Davey Reynolds is in 4th. Alex Davison 5th and Mark Winterbottom 6th. That's quite a collection.
It's a nice job for Scott McLaughlin, given that he qualified where he did, even though he was the man in that previous race. Very, very difficult to make that sort of ground. He's been helped a little bit by 1 or 2 blues, but it's a nice job by both those young guys, Mostert and McLaughlin.
Now, Timmy Edwards, this is going to be loud, mate, but I want to do it up here on the pit wall. Mate, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, obviously pretty happy with the results so far. What I want to ask you about, though, is young Chaz Mostert. We know you've got him on your books. When do you get him back?
When will I get him back?
Yeah.
Well, when I choose to. Obviously, he's in a long-term agreement with us. As you can see, the way he's driving, you know, he won't be going anywhere for a long time. So, I mean, he's just a star. And not only is he a great driver, he is an unbelievable person to have around the team. I mean, he works in the factory 3 days a week, pushing a broom round, so down to earth. He's just a great individual. So the fact he can drive as well that's just a bonus.
And I guess the hard thing for you guys moving forward with Winterbottom, Davison and Davey Reynolds, you've got 3 great young talents there anyway. Not really room for another, so 4 cars maybe.
Well, I mean, it's a great situation at the moment where DJR are a customer of ours, are able to give him the opportunity to drive there. So, I mean, that option's available for next year. You know, where we go to, we're not sure at this stage. But, yeah, it's great to have him waiting in the wing, knocking on the door and keeping the other guys in their seats, keeping them honest.
Good for you, mate. Drive the wages down too. Well done.
Yeah, the thought had crossed my mind.
Spoke to Chaz Mostert earlier in the year. It was up in Darwin when he had 2 events under his belt, and asked him how much life had changed now that he was part of the V8 Supercar main game. And one of the Red Bull cars has just gone straight ahead
Car
there.
one.
Car 1, okay, into pit lane.
Another flat tyre, apparently.
So he's back in, it is too. Yeah, and the result was, Chaz said, I'm just so much busier now.
Yeah, I need to pull into the box for me. You're going to put it on safety. You're going to put it on safety, so with the left front wheel off it, we want to have a look around in there. Nice and steady for us, mate. You won't have the braking all that well. Perfect. Up on safety, please.
The safeties, they make reference to are those little incompressible stays that go into the air jacks so that the car can't come down on top of anybody working on it. That's a requirement in the rules for obvious safety for all. But it's gone from bad to worse for Whincup. He's showing 24th at the moment, and also 1 lap down was David Wall, who's now vaulted over him by 1 spot, so that drops Whincup to 25th. They'll want to get him back out, at least grab some points, because you just never know at the end of the season whether they could come in handy.
Hey boys, you were talking earlier about the best spot on the circuit, and I think Dick Johnson's found it. Dick, you've got a great view up there of your bloke Chaz Mostert doing an awesome job.
He's doing a great job, mate. I think he's just looking after the tyres at the moment to make sure, it's probably about another 14 laps to go, so that's a long way on soft tyres.
You've seen a lot of young blokes come and go over the years. How good is he, do you think?
I think only time will tell, mate, but I think he really has got what it takes.
Well, hang in there. All the best, Dick.
Will do, mate. Thanks.
I'm getting down.
There are scissor lifts around if Dick, really wants a proper view.
Incidentally, Garth Tander's come into the lane as well, car 2. There he is exiting. I don't know what that was for. Looked like they at least did the front right, but didn't see the rest of the stop.
And Dick's point to Barrett's there about still another 14 or 15 laps to go on soft tyres. Well, Chaz Mostert's lead is being chipped away ever so slightly by Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, clearly what's happening down here on Jamie Whincup. There goes Tander behind me out onto the circuit. They've got a clearance problem. I can see they're looking at all the possibilities. If something's obviously rubbing on the tyre and must be agitating Jamie inside. The other thing, without that headlight, the front under tray, creates that low pressure under the car, won't be working well because high pressure air will be bleeding through that aperture where the headlight was and creating pressure under the car. Now, given this is all right-hand circuits and turns 1 and 2 are quite fast and very, very heavily aerodynamically influenced, this will be a tough day to drive this car in. In fact, I'd park it.
Well, they really sort of can't go much further back. Alex Prema's 3 laps behind them, so they've got a bit of comfort at the moment. And all they're going to be doing is picking up crumbs in terms of points, and they send him on his way now, Jamie Whincup.
Okay, mate, be sure to be staying off curbs, etc. We keep hitting the same thing. Thank you.
So Whincup's having a terrible finish to this afternoon. Chaz Mostert, though, is having the time of his life out in front in the V8 Supercar Championship.
You've got 7 seconds to Davo. Manage this. 10 laps to go. With left front punches, multiple cars. If you look after our left front, watch for debris. Good, put it on. Debris on the track, so just watch the racing line. You got a nice margin to Will.
Welcome back. This is an extraordinary set of circumstances because Scott McLaughlin in the break has now had to come into pit lane, another car with a puncture, and so too James Courtney facing the same deal. He's in the lane now. His front left is shredded also. And remember, McLaughlin was in second position. Alex Davison looks as though he's slowing down as well. Yes, he's lost one. So rubber's going everywhere.
It'll be the turn 2 curbing here. We've made reference to it several times over the weekend. It's very harsh. It digs out behind the curb. And these new tyres on the 18-inch rim are 12 mil shallower in the wall height, the tyre wall height. And it would be very easy to compress the rim and the tyre, and that's a big explosion there for Courtney.
That was massive, wasn't it? And watch what happens when he gets going. He gets going, and you won't believe the damage when it destroys the left-hand front guard. What's this? He's going up there quite quickly, and then bang! Have a look at that. I've never seen a tyre become like a big piece of rope and just tear everything off the left-hand side of that car.
Even when the cars are coasting, they're not going that slow. You'd still be doing a good 150 to 200 kilometres an hour down this.
Now let's think about it. Garth Tander's had problems. Jamie Whincup's had problems. Scott McLaughlin now has problems. James Courtney and
Alex Davison.
5 cars. Front left, gone.
So the message is going out up and down the field on radios at the moment, beware the curbs. There may be something else. We're only guessing, obviously, at this stage, but there's an epidemic out there, and left front is the risk area. There was someone that I spoke to yesterday, I've forgotten who it was now, talked about actually wearing very heavily their front left tyre this weekend. Larko can probably add.
Yeah, well, here's the hot tip, Neil. I mean, I was sort of thinking, gee, they need to ship the safety car and find what it is. I was talking to Rich Holway Scotty McLaughlin's engineer, well respected, and this guy knows his stuff, and he's scratching his head, but a really good conclusion he just come to is pressure. Look, we know everyone now is running very low pressures in these cars to start with. Now, given the coolness of the day, the coolness of the track condition, he's thinking maybe no one's tyres have come up to the functional operating pressure. Now, I think that's a reasonably good analysis.
It's not bad, is it? And if you then consider how much more shallow the new tyre is versus the old, Marco, maybe you can even show us if you can get near a rim and tyre down there somewhere, show the folks at home. It's pretty easy to imagine when the curbing clobbers the tyre, you can collapse the tyre onto the rim and therefore damage it, break it.
So FPR, second, third and fourth now. Mostert's lead is 7 seconds, so and remember, just before the break I made the point that Scott McLaughlin was just chipping away ever so slightly. It was edging towards about 1.5 seconds, the difference between first and second, and then boom, McLaughlin's out of it.
And if it's not a curb, it could be as simple as just load, because the load you generate through turns 1 and 2 here, big, particularly turn 2, you spend a lot of time waiting for the nose of the car to settle before you pick the throttle up. You've got a lot of steering angle on it, you've got a lot of weight on it. Right here we're talking about, and there's a period where you're just all loaded on the front left tyre, then you pick it up, and then you whack that curve. Yeah. Maybe the combination of those things is what the tyre's not liking.
Because those were flat. So we saw Courtney in the braking area. That was immediately flat, wasn't it?
Yep.
So you've got to say it's happened from turn 2.
All this shuffling around. Tim Slade is now 8th. And Rick and Todd Kelly both inside the top 10. For Jack Daniels Racing, the Nissan Altimas.
And the championship, 129 points now with Whincup down there and Lowndes up to 6th. So a big day in the course of this year's championship. Come in with a 177-point lead into this race, now 129.
That's what I was clumsily trying to get at a bit earlier. But what is interesting here is that there's a little battle going on between Frosty and Dave Reynolds, and I think that Frosty might get down the inside on these shots, and does. Amazing how much different this one is. A little bit of a touch there. How much this one is by comparison to the previous race because of the way qualifying unfolded. And it's Fords in 1, 2, 3 and 4. There's only 6 of them.
Hey Neil, this is what you call a catastrophic failure of a tyre. As you can see, it's completely shredded, and I mean, it's been off the car a few minutes now from James Courtney's front left, and you can still feel the heat in the tyre. You can almost boil an egg on it, but it is completely shredded. And what happens, as you were saying, this giant section here, which becomes flat, just spins on the outside like a giant shredder and just rips off those front left panels. So that is completely Stufsky.
Just grab it, Stufsky. Just grab it, turn it up. That's
as close as I can get, thanks, mate. And it's warm here. It smells too.
Come on, toughen it up.
So we saw Mark Winterbottom get around David Reynolds. So that puts Winterbottom up to 3rd. It's Tony D'Alberto, Jonathan Webb, and Dean Fiore.
This will be the longest 4 laps of Chaz Mostert's life. He'll be listening for every tyre drama, every little bit of brake noise, every bit of driveline vibration, every bit of engine note. He wants this thing to finish, and he has done a great job. This is the bump. So when he gets halfway through the pass, he's actually down the inside. Now have a look at the oversteer. Boom. Teammates. Nice.
Helping him along down to turn 2.
Have a look at the opposite lock. So when he gets a bump, just have a look, really good look at the right-hand front tyre and the steering lock. So he gets a little bump just now, and see the steering lock. Have a look at his hand, he had to get his hand right up over the top of the wheel then. That was a very fast and very awkward moment for those two guys.
So Jamie Whincup is 3 laps down in 25th position.
Evidence of brake glow in the background there as the light gets low here in the late afternoon as well. So even in its semi-disabled state at the moment, okay, you can still see the amount of braking force that's required to get the cars stopped. There's 4 big stops around here. So 25th, as you say, a couple of laps off the money, but some points, and live to fight another day.
And Adam DeBore needs to get on the phone to young Chaz and say, let's just go real easy now, mate. Just go real steady to the slowest laps you can possibly do. There's 4 laps to go. There's 4.8 second lead. He can afford to lose a second a lap and still win this race.
Yeah, it's a hard one, Scaife. You've got to be careful you don't go too slow and then make a mistake. It does happen. But here's what Neil was exactly talking about. So there's our 18-inch rim, which is bigger than last year. But to keep the overall diameter there, this sidewall, this dimension here is smaller. And I've talked about camber a lot. So over there at turn 2, you need plenty of camber. You need plenty of this because that buckles under heavy load. If the pressures didn't go up like we talked about, that tyre will flex under there even further. The rim might even possibly clout the curb, and all of that is the start of the drama.
Yeah, you can actually see it there now, Larko. So we're looking at the front of Chaz Mostert's Falcon. You can see the load on the left-hand front. Have a look when it comes into screen for you there. Have a look how far the tyre is in under the wheel.
So the tyre's distorted. That's the message to Mostert about the margin to Will Davison, 4.14 seconds. So he's saying Will's having a big push.
Please don't say that.
This is Fabian Coulthard's car.
Happy birthday, bro.
Fabian's in 5th. And that was very telling, that message from Adam DeBore to Chaz Mostert. Letting him know that he can't let up at all because Will Davison is travelling along very quickly. Now under 4 seconds is the gap.
Spoke to Phil Keed about that shot last night and said, have a look at it when you get back to the workshop and have a look at the distortion and the anti-roll bar, which is that vertical blade that you can see, because I don't think you'll like what you see. So they were disappearing to go and have a look at the vision.
So Lowndes is pretty motivated here because if he gets by Fabian and Dave Reynolds, pretty telling factor. Oh, this is... But look, have a look at the load now through this high-speed turn 2. Massive amount of load for a long period of time, 5.5 seconds.
And if you don't get that front wheel straight, look at the front rotor there. If you don't get the steering wheel straight and take the load out of the rim and tyre at turn 2, and there was a great shot on that previous lap at the front left working corner of Chaz's car, you could actually see the full distortion of the tyre wall, and then it clouts that serrated edge on the ripple strip, and we suspect that that's where the drama is.
Isn't it amazing how this sport turns out incredible stories like this? Over the last week or so, Dick Johnson's story has been front and centre. The trials and tribulations of one of our great Australian sportsmen and a Hall of Famer in this sport have been laid bare. And on this weekend, there he is on the straight that is named after him. Dick Johnson looks on and sees this 21-year-old rookie who only came into the championship in WA in the 4th event of this year, replacing Johnny Reid, is now less than 1 lap away from a breakthrough win.
This is race number 13 of his full-time main game V8 Supercar career. Race number 13. That's an extraordinary stat for this guy, and he will become, we've had a couple of false starts on this stat, but he will become the 10th different winner on the top of the podium for this season.
What a performance. He was the Australian Formula 4 champion in 2010 with a record 14 out of 24 race wins. He came into this category late this year with eyes wide open, and he has been loving every minute of it. But none more so than today, because yet again the rookies come to the fore and Chaz Mostert breaks through. What a win, what a fantastic story, and what an effort for Dick Johnson Racing.
That is fucking awesome. Good job, guys, good job.
Becomes the 69th man to win a race in the Australian Touring Car V8 Supercar Championship.
And the man in the green who just stepped off there was John from Wilson Security. he's put the money up to make all this go round. We should tip our hats to him and his support of Dick Johnson Racing, because Wilson Security put a huge investment into this sport.
Have a spin. Cheers, bro.
Dick Johnson, the trials and tribulations, huh?
Well, 82 races have passed since Dick Johnson Racing won a V8 Supercar race. Almost 3 years. And today you have seen the future of V8 Supercars. Scott McLaughlin winning earlier, Chaz Mostert winning this one, and his head is spinning in more ways than one. There are tears in the eyes of Dick in pit lane. Chaz's dad, Eddie, is there as well. He works in the workshop with the guys 3 days a week. And a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Blue Oval. That's the first time in 3 years that Ford has claimed a victory at Queensland Raceway. Fabian Coulthard, the best of the Commodores. And both Rick and Todd Kelly inside the top 10 for Nissan Motorsport. Garth Tander. So many of these guys had tough days, and it was all to do with tyres. Jamie Whincup, our championship leader, finishes in 25th spot. He's had a big chunk taken out of his lead with just one more sprint round to go before we head into the Enduros.
Dick Johnson up here on the pit wall, mate. Could not be happier for you, mate. Great young kid, but still the team's got to do the business. The team's still got to put the car under him. We had a chat to Timmy Edwards earlier on. We know that ultimately he's going to go there, but gee whiz, you must be proud of what's achieved today.
Well, it's all about the young guys. You know, this business, you know, it changes constantly, and, you know, Chaz has always had the potential, and it's just, I'm glad that we could sort of give him the opportunity.
And we're really happy for Dick Johnson Racing. Well done, mate.
Well, cheers.
What a great day for Ford Motor Company, Matt, for the four first cars to have factory Ford backing. Extraordinary effort from those guys and young Chaz Mostert. What a great drive. And as you said, the future of this sport, very good shape today with young McLaughlin and Mostert's performances.
Will Davison just offering his congratulations straight away. And Mark Winterbottom will be on the podium as well.
Big day in that young man's life.
And they're moments you never forget. And to do it the way that he's done it today has been something very special to watch.
Well, Chaz, just getting the congratulations to the team. Might be hard to catch, actually, guys, at the moment, because this is some celebration for Pepsi Max Racing, and they want to savour the moment. Chaz, congratulations. The qualifying was fantastic. We knew big things were coming, but to get that first race win here is super special.
Oh, tell me about it. You know, watching Scotty McLaughlin this year have a couple of wins, I was like, God, that guy's lucky. And now I know how he exactly feels. This is sensational. This is probably better than the, you know, 7 wonders of the world, this thing. So I love this thing.
Your celebrations across the line were fantastic. Did you feel confident pretty much all the way there?
Oh, not really. You know, it's the first time I started off the front row in this series. I knew it was going to be hard. If Scotty McLaughlin didn't do that tyre, I'm probably pretty confident he would have got me. But, you know, it was good to have that bit of a gap behind the Wilbur there, and I could try and manage that front left tyre. You could feel it kind of vibrating from about 10 laps to go, and you're lucky we got there.
Scotty in race 23, you in race 24. This is the year of the young guns.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it up, but it's hard yakking against these legends, and, you know, we'll see how we go.
Congratulations. Awesome breakthrough win. Well done, Chaz.
Thanks, guys.
Of course, it was a great weekend for Ford Performance Racing, and as we make our way over to Will, just huge congratulations everywhere here for Chaz Mostert. Will Davison, congratulations. That's an important weekend and a good result, second on the podium. Very important for the championship.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the team, so I really got to thank them and all the Ford fans. It's so good to see a 1, 2, 3 for the Blue Oval, so, and great for FPR, great for DJR, great for Chaz and all those guys. So I've had a tough weekend, but we got a pole this morning, we got a podium, so we improved the car a bit then, but yeah, not speedy enough around here at the moment, but just great job by the boys. Thanks to Pepsi Max, thanks to all our sponsors, and hello to all my family at home and all my love to Tony. Cheers.
And on to Winton, Will. All the best.
Thanks, cheers.
Mark Winterbottom, great performance, fought your way through and a good result, podium finish this weekend, last race.
Yeah, it was. That's awesome to see the 1, 2, 3, 4 and see the crop of young blokes in our sport winning races. It's really good to see. I'm so proud of Chazzy. He's given me a hiding on the tennis court, now he's giving me a hiding on the track, so I'll have to try and get him back. But great day, and I'm wrapped for him. It's a great day.
Right, you'll get onto home turf at Winton. We look forward to seeing you there. Jump up and enjoy that podium.
Yeah, we will. Thanks, mate.
With you. Tough old day, Lee. Mate, I said I'd want to come and find you after the race. I know you only finished 18th, but after this weekend, mate, it must be like winning it.
Yeah, the boys, it was like I won it because the boys were all cheering when I got out. I wasn't that happy about 18th, but it was nice to finish one, but we had a few dramas again in that race with brakes, but yeah, it was just got caught up with that oil down turn 3 and then I know the brakes were going long at the start of the race and just got worse and worse. So.
But Lee, I think you can keep your chin up, mate, because when you go home and look at the vision of this race, you'll see Timmy Slade in one of your cars, like really giving HRT the hurry up during the middle of the race there. So clearly the development path you're on is, you know, it's maybe not where you want to be, but it's clearly on track.
Yeah, exactly. And I had an HRT car at the start of the race following me, and I got away from him. So we are making some steps forward, which is great. This is our test track, so we sort of wanted to get some good results here. Tim had a great run. Well, we got the monkey off our back, hopefully.
I reckon there's some really good signs this weekend, mate. There really was. So good luck in the next one.
Thank you. Thanks.
Check out the championship point score now after 24 races. So 129 is the difference. Jamie Whincup bleeding some points in that race. Will Davison there remaining in 3rd and Garth Tander down in 8th. This is the first time since Phillip Island on the Saturday last year that Ford has been 1, 2, 3 on the podium.
Race 24 of our year, the Coates Hire Ipswich 360. Would you please congratulate in first place for Wilson Security Racing, Chaz Mostert. In second place for Pepsi Max Crew FBR Ford, Will Davison. And in third place for Pepsi Max Crew FBR Ford, Mark Winterbottom. Representing the winning team at Wilson Security Racing, Richard Swan. Making the presentation of the third place trophy is Councillor Victor Atwood, the Deputy Mayor of the City of Ipswich. Presenting to second place is Mark Kane, Executive General Manager, Market Strategy and Planning from our naming rights sponsor, Coates Hire. Making the presentation to the winning team is the Regional Sales Manager for Coca-Cola, Andrew Jargo. And presenting to first place is the member for Lockyer, Ian Rickus, MP. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 V8 Supercars Coates Hire Ipswich 360 Race 24 winners.
Chaz's dad, Eddie, looking on to see his son on the top step of the podium and savouring that wonderful taste of V8 Supercar success for the very first time.